In all our business lives, we have to have difficult conversations. But sometimes, as difficult as it is, you need to tell somebody to do something. How do you do that? Look, no one enjoys difficult conversations, but sometimes you really have to have them. And here's some rules to make it easier for you. We're going to look at why it's important, an approach, and what can go wrong. Okay, so why is it important? How often have you told someone to do something and they just don't get it? Or you need someone to go and say something to someone and they won't do it. Look, there really are two different types of difficult conversation. The ones you start and the ones that they start. The ones you start are typically about giving them some clear direction or even some bad news. The ones they start are about the issues that you need to deal with. Both require clarity and listening. But we're really going to focus on the first today. By the way, either way, whether you're starting or they're starting it, whether you like it or not, you're about to have a difficult conversation and you need to approach it in an organized way. You need to make sure your message is both heard and understood. Okay, so let's talk about the conversation itself. And I think there really are 6 steps in this process. Number 1 is to start with small talk. You need to get the meeting going into a conversation and not the sudden silence which requires you to present. Second step, you need to ask an appropriate series of questions that explores the area you're going to discuss. So look, if they're failing to do a role, I ask about the outputs they think they need from that role. If they're doing something wrong, I ask them about the relationships or the issues they're having with other people in the role. Don't be too obscure with the questions and listen carefully to the answers. I identify the gap, step 3, between what you want and what they understand, because that's the gap you're going to have to close. And in step 4, as that gap gets clearer, express simply what you need to be done. If necessary, repeat the request or the action until you think they get it. If you're not sure, ask them questions and ask them to repeat back to you what it is you've asked. Step 5, let them ask questions of you and get clarity about your request. They'll have concerns and questions and fears, and you should let them work through that. Step 6, agree to a date and then check on the progress. Try not to end the meeting until you have an action and the date by which that action will be checked. Okay, stage 3, what can be the biggest problems you have? Okay, the biggest challenge you have is when you're not clear about what you're asking or telling them. If you are clear and the outcome is clear, then you must be able to say it simply. Don't look for clever words, don't look for clever thinking, look for unambiguous clarity. If they don't get it, this is your fault, not theirs. Sometimes you need to say what you want and how you want it. Clever words obscure your needs, but listen to their responses and try to understand them. It might tell you something about what you're asking.